Super Random Japan. Nani?
Here we go again. As I was in the midst of making a video on another topic, yet more news of nuisance streamers / YouTubers came up. I really hope this isn't all my channel ends up covering. It's supposed to be random Japanese topics, not idiot foreigners in Japan topics. I mean, not only that. Anyway. Yesterday, prank and nuisance YouTuber Fidias posted and pinned an apology on his video titled, "I Traveled Across Japan for Free." As many of you know from my previous video about being deported, you'll know that fare dodging is a touchy subject for me, and so it irks me to see someone bragging about succeeding at it and trying to win money for doing it, and essentially making a living off of fare dodging throughout the world. You see, in his video, Fidias and 4 other YouTubers are competing to see who can win a race across the country without needing to spend money. Fidias shows how he rides a train by hiding in the toilet, pretends to be sick when confronted, and runs away to do it again. He also brags about sneaking into a hotel to get a free 5-star breakfast buffet, and so on. At this point, it's unsure if any of the YouTubers are still in Japan or when the videos were shot. However, he may not know that JR Kyushu and the Japanese authorities are already looking into it. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if my video about train hopping relaunched some government AI scanners and Japan Railways is on a rampage. Seriously though, expect ticket prices to rise and new security measures to increase, etc. if you're visiting Japan. Although Fidias seems to do this in many countries, I think we're all noticing a trend that Japan is a hot spot for this kind of activity, and for that I recommend watching my other video about the empowerment foreigners feel when visiting Japan and why it's a common trope. Sadly, I'm afraid we're going to see a lot more of this, but hopefully the recent Johnny Somali situation, in which a nuisance streamer was arrested for his antics in Japan, as well as other crackdowns, will change things in the near future. We shall see. Speaking of Johnny, if anyone is confused, remember that he was rearrested recently, and he can be continued to be arrested indefinitely as new crimes are added. Each crime is investigated individually and takes up to 28 days max, but 23 is more common. So we may have more news about him around the first week of November, I'm hoping, in which I'm expecting a possible new arrest, which would restart the clock all over again. Any previous indictment or court date won't happen until all are investigated. I'll post an update on that later though, most likely. Now, as for Fidias or his fellow YouTubers, if they were to be caught, it's hard to say if they'd have as hard a time as Johnny. Usually normal fare dodging, not forging a rail pass, is often a lighter sentence from what I hear, or even just 23 to 28 days in jail and some fines, etc. However, if it's anything like Johnny, they may want to make an example of him or the other YouTubers as well to prevent this from happening more. However, he may have already left Japan and may be smarter than Johnny and not return. But people always want to come back for them likes. Now, I know some people may say too about Fidias' crimes that they're a lot less harsh than Johnny Somali's, as they're somewhat victimless, other than the big corporations like Japan Railways and whatnot. But, and as far as I could tell, he's not harassing people and stuff like that. He's still making a living off breaking the law technically, and though they're kind of petty crimes in some people's eyes, it's still just a dick thing to do in my opinion. But, who am I to talk, obviously? I'm nowhere near perfect. Anyway, I'm going to get back to working on something a little less touchy. Please subscribe and stay tuned for some non-prankster streamer videos, hopefully, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of these too, sadly. Later.